Hey friends, welcome back to the Life of a Makeup Artist podcast. I am so excited for our new unofficial new season. Now, if you have not checked out the visual episodes on YouTube, you can go and check that out on my page. The playlist is at the Life of a Makeup Artist. And if you have not checked us out on TikTok as well, we are on there at the Life of a Makeup Artist. Now, today we are here with none other than Cynde Watson, who I have known the entirety of my time in New York, which has been 10 years, all of which I have been a major fan. And we've been trying to do this episode for the longest
Yes.
while, okay? But of course, things always happen when it's supposed to. Now, Cynde is to me, and not just to me, but she's an OG in the industry, such, inspiration. And there's so much we can learn from her. Now, Cynde has worked with everyone from Queen Latifah, Tyson Beckford, Giselle Bundchen, just to name a few. And you have held several executive positions in from brands like Bobbi Brown, Avon, It Cosmetics. Like there's so much that we have to talk about today. So if you don't know who Cynde is, I suggest you grab a pen and paper because this is what we call goals. And we're going to have to take some notes today. But before we get into all of that, hi, Cynde. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm so good, and thank you for having me.
Of course. I am so excited this has happened. Like we haven't seen each other in like 6 or 7 years.
Oh, at least. But the last time I saw you, you were doing your thing on set, and that was so inspiring
Oh
too.
my gosh. Well, thank you for having me. I was actually assisting Cynde on a Becca shoot.
Oh,
Okay.
wasn't that great?
R.I.P. Becca.
I
Yes, it was
know.
such a
I
great
know.
shoot. I learned so much from you that day, and it was just so great. It was
Oh.
so great to see, like, I mean, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
We'll get
But I
into
was just in awe because Cynde was running the show that day. I was like, yes, boss, okay? But how are you? How's life? Like, let's get to that first.
I'm great. Life is good.
Yeah.
I'm an empty nester now. My daughter's in college, so I am doing my
Oh,
thing and watching her thrive.
right.
So, what I did as a mom, I guess I did okay.
Yeah, that's
And
so
then I'm
good.
just, really digging into what I love best, and that's beauty, wellness, media, all things included.
Oh, I love that. How is it with your daughter being gone though? Do you feel like you miss her and you're like,
Yeah.
or no, you're like, no, I'm about to travel, I'm about to live my life. Bye, girl.
I think it's a little of both.
Mhm.
She's so good and she does so well, but she still needs me. She's on the
Right,
West Coast, so those
right,
3 o'clock in the morning calls are, I'm there to take them.
right.
But I also am embracing my time by myself too. So I
Yeah,
think it's a balance, and
I
I
love
love I
that.
love both of them. I'll see her this weekend.
Oh, that's nice. So you've been in the industry for over 25
Oh,
years.
at
How?
least that's kind. Probably close to 30.
Wow. So 30 years.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of take it back. What was that one moment that catapulted you into becoming a makeup artist?
Well, I went to school. I'm an artist, so
Mhm.
I paint portraits, and so that's me first.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's
That's
where
so
my color
cool.
theory comes
Hmm.
from. That's where my love of color and understanding complexions and tones,
Hmm.
it all comes from painting.
Right.
So, because of that, I then became, not because of that, but I was also a model.
Hmm.
So, merging the two back in the day,
Right.
where artists didn't really understand or have the feel of doing our makeup. When I say
Right.
our, I mean women of color.
Right.
I had to go in there on my own and do my own makeup.
Right.
And a lot of the models saw my makeup and
Hmm.
said, "Wow, which makeup artist did your makeup?" And I was like, "Well, I did my own makeup,
Me. Me,
me."
girl.
And so then I started sort of helping them out, doing their
Right.
makeup. And someone asked me one time and just said, well, you should do makeup. And I'm
Right.
thinking, how could I make a
Right.
living
For that.
doing
Yeah.
that, especially at that time?
Right.
And I learned my way. And as I modeled and did makeup and more photographers and people, I started working with different people, and it
Hmm.
was just as a hobby, just as something fun. And I ended up working in store at Neiman's, funny enough, on as a and kind of at a trunk show,
Right.
and had done all the girls' makeup, and one of the counter people came up and said, "Oh my god, the girls, you guys look so beautiful. You guys look so Bobbi Brown."
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like,
Bobbi Brown. You
"What
look
is"
Bobbi Brown.
And
That
so
means you look good.
we looked good.
Your skin matched.
all the things. But
Yeah.
at that time, I didn't know what that really meant
And
because I didn't
right.
know Bobby Brown that much. I didn't know. That was at the very
Right.
beginning. And so she came up and she said, "Oh, I want to show you the collection." So
Mhm.
we saw I went over and I
Was it
saw the
actually
makeup.
her?
It wasn't Bobby. It
Oh,
was her.
okay.
It was at in Westchester. It
Oh,
was at a
okay, okay.
Neiman store. And they asked me, they learned that I had done the makeup of the
Mhm.
models, and they asked me to come and do their Bobby PA, their
Mhm.
personal appearance.
Mhm.
And so I did.
Mhm.
After I was like, what do you mean, work in store? What does that
Right.
mean?
Right.
Just tell me what you're going to pay me.
Right.
And, and it was all good. So I went up and I did it and I became top salesperson. Long story short, that was a great day. And then they asked me to do Bergdorf's and I did Bergdorf's and that's the day that I met Bobby.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I
met her
love
that
that.
day. And the rest is goes into history.
Well, I know that I mentioned you've worked with so many different brands, but you also launched your own brand.
I did.
And I was like, wait, how did I not know about this? Did you not have to do my little research?
I love that.
And yeah, tell us about that.
So I did. I launched my own brand in 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So that was obviously years ago. If you are familiar with nude sticks, it
Mm-hmm.
looked a lot like that. It was an
Right.
all pencil line
Mm-hmm.
and it was complexion all the way to lips.
Mm-hmm.
And they were dual ended pencils. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I did pencils was I had just had my daughter
Mm-hmm.
and she was literally clinging. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was not letting me go. She cried if I let her go in the morning when I got ready.
Right.
So I ended up doing my makeup with one hand with all the pencils that I had.
Right.
So I was like, gosh, that's a great concept to just
Right.
do everything with my pencils. And I was using like eyeliners and lip
Right.
liners and
Right.
smudging them. And that gave me the idea. And then on the other end of the pencils, the complexion pencils that had a little brush on the end.
Right.
And so it was called Color by
I
Cynde
see.
Watson.
Mm-hmm.
And it was complexion kits, lips, and eye pencils,
Right.
similar to the eyeshadow sticks that Bobby
Right.
has, and also the caviar sticks of Laura Mercier, and also it has them as well.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's crazy how you're ahead of your time.
I was a little ahead of my time, I have to say,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty proud of that one.
Yeah. Wolf, can you do me a favor, please? Can you pass me my jacket? I didn't realize I blend into this couch so much.
Oh, you know what? You are definitely
I
in
need
the
to
couch.
break up the color.
You are definitely in the couch. Who
Don't look
knew?
like a talking head.
That was because you guys had the same thought. Great
Because I
mind.
usually am on the blue couch. I didn't think about that.
Well, that's cute too.
Yeah, just
Oh yeah, I like it. Cute.
yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, whatever this hydration is though, because okay, skin.
It's right. It's like
I mean, you are poppy. You always are, though. You always look great.
thank you, thank you. Hold on, let me get back into yes, good yes. Um okay. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the roles that you've held because you have been not only in marketing, you've been in product development, basically everything. You've hired, pro teams. So I'd love to talk about your experience in those roles, and especially as a Black woman, because representation is important. And you were the first to hold many of those roles for the first time. So I would love for you to share like your experience, across a lot of those brands that you've been with.
I am super happy you asked that, and I'm so proud to be sort of the launching pad to some
Hmm.
of these roles in the industry. And representation is so important. And as much as we are moving
Hmm.
forward and we see a lot of ourselves, I just am happy to say that I'm there to even push that further,
Right.
right? So I've been with, yes, Bobbi Brown. I started as a national makeup artist, well,
Hmm.
actually a freelancer, and worked my way from national makeup
Right.
artist to global makeup artist, and
Hmm.
then director of global artistry, then to executive director of global artistry
Wow.
and development. And in that role, I think that was the role where I was able to work product development was something that I really wanted, and Bobby wanted me to be a part of as well,
Hmm.
especially focusing on women of color.
Right.
Working in the education department with the language, really understanding how to speak to women of color and the hierarchy in which we use products and
Hmm.
how we apply products
Right.
and that we could all wear pretty much of the same products, but it's more important to talk to women on how to wear it and where to place it
Right.
on your skin. It's not that we can all wear it all. It works for everybody. Everybody can wear it.
Right. You're like, girl.
And sometimes that's not true. And then
Right.
sometimes it's where do you put it, right?
Right.
And if you don't know that, that's how products become discontinued.
Right.
And so I was always on that forefront. So I did work at Bobby, then I was at Avon, which was a big switch
Right.
because it's such a larger group of women.
Right.
It's a different platform, but I was their lead makeup artist and lead pro. And what I did there was all of their, at that time, they were DVDs. I know, scary, but true. So all their makeup
I mean,
DVDs.
listen, I had DVDs, so
Okay. So I was proud to have the picture on the DVD and do their first
wow.
tutorial DVDs for Avon and Mark. So that was huge. I worked with Avon in product development and
Right.
complexion, which was something a super
That's great
necessary,
stuff.
great
Yeah.
product. I think it's like a big, I mean, the secret, is out, but I
Mhm.
mean, back in the day, people didn't realize how great that product is,
Right.
and how diverse it is. It
Mhm.
really is. But, just being a part of being that makeup pro for the team, I
Mhm.
was able to work with their celebrity, their celebrity ambassadors that would come on board. And at one point, it was when I don't know if you ever, well, you watched The Hills, I'm sure.
Yes,
So
of
Lauren
course.
Conrad was one of their huge celebrities at the time. So I worked with her a lot in that whole Hills crew. So
Right.
that was sort of fun during that crazy time when they were so
Right.
popular. So I did that. And then that's when I went off and started my own line and
Right.
launched it on HSN. And from there, I started working with Sephora
Mhm.
and working with their Sephora collection line in product development. Yes, from New York. And I would fly there every 2 months and work with their team. And then I worked with several other brands
Right.
in media, media coaching their
Right.
artists.
Right.
Space NK was one of the retailers
Oh,
that I
wow, I
worked
didn't know.
on their artistry team.
Mhm.
So there's several different ways that I worked with
Mhm.
brands. I worked with Phyto Specific
Mhm.
with their team,
Right.
and then I ended up working on their campaigns
Wow.
after working
There are
on
some beautiful campaigns.
beautiful
Yeah,
campaigns.
clean, just clean, gorgeous images.
So that was a kind of a cool transition because I
Right.
started working with their hair artist team
Right.
on media coaching, and then I
Mhm.
worked on with their executive team as well. And then they were like, "Oh, well, we're looking to do a campaign,"
Right.
and then I became, the lead artist on that.
Right.
And what you were saying, it's been wonderful to be able to hire artists,
Right.
not only for campaign shoots,
Right.
but also working in these roles as an executive.
Right.
I'm able to build teams
Right.
and I'm able to build diverse teams
Right.
and also educate the teams on how to speak to all women. So
Right.
that's been something that's been amazing in my career.
I love
And then
that.
also It Cosmetics, working on the team as director of education. And
Mhm.
then I became director of artistry on the DRTV team, which then
Wow.
took me on HSN, QVC, and TSC. So
Wow.
definitely,
So
definitely
when
things.
okay, so when it do you ever do you have like this like internal, meter or inkling where you're just like, okay, it's time to move on, or like obviously like it's fine if someone stays at a position for a very long time, but you've like gradually just kind of like moved around, tried different things. Like, do you have like an internal, meter just telling you, all right, well, time to try something new? Because for me, I'm a creature of habit. I'm like, I'm happy here. I don't mind trying new things, but
I do. I think that's something that's in me, and I think it's a good thing. And
Mhm.
I also think I'm led by seasons.
Mhm.
I'm a spiritual person.
Mhm.
God leads me,
Yep.
and I feel like when I hear that voice, it's like time. And
Right.
sometimes I want to fight it, and
Right.
sometimes I stay longer than that. Maybe 2 or 3 years after that voice has spoken to me.
Right.
But I think it's important, and I think it's important to keep it fresh.
Right.
I have several talents, and I like to be brave sometimes and
Right.
step out and try things because you can
Right.
always go back, right?
Right.
When you've honed those skills, they're your
Mhm.
skills.
Right.
When you're educated, it's yours.
Yeah.
But I think in this industry, be it a makeup artist, a director of a department, a media person, whatever that a personality, an
Mhm.
ambassador,
Mhm.
which I've worked on all of those areas and I've also directed in all of
Mhm.
those areas. I think it's important. It's like being an
Right.
actor and also being a producer and a director. Sometimes
Right.
you just want to get a feel for all of it.
Right.
But the role that I love the most is education. I love to educate. I love to mentor.
Mhm.
I think there's space for everyone,
Mhm.
and I like that. And I'm now embracing and have been embracing the influencer, which I
Mhm.
love. I love this space.
Right.
So I love watching you all the time because I know you're also an artist as well, and
Right.
they are two different things and then one and the same.
Exactly. Because
So
sometimes, people, it's like influencer gets a bad word, but you're really just talking about what you know. You know what I mean? And it's just like you end up with that title, but you're really just a professional and you're using
absolutely.
digital marketing to advertise yourself.
And
That's
I
just
think
what it
it's
is.
amazing to be able to do the makeup on yourself
Right.
and really market it because
Right.
marketing is key. And to be
Yeah.
able to do that and influence people to purchase, but
Right.
then you can also do makeup on models
Right.
and various different skin tones and
Yeah.
skin textures. So you're
Thank
you're a
you.
little more
I
than meets
appreciate
the
that.
eye, which I love.
Thank you. I'm actually curious about this. And I think it's a bit of a touchy subject because we've all been in spaces where sometimes we have the titles, we have the experience, but we're not always respected.
Mhm.
So what would you say you've done, or what would you tell others who want to assert themselves in a respectful way, and kind of like you have that authority in a room, but sometimes you might not be in a space where people are like accustomed to seeing a person of color, being in a
Right.
position, and you're like, okay, well, hi, I'm actually in charge here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not in a
Yeah.
stuck up way, but it's just like, how do you navigate those type of like situations? Because a lot of times I have friends who go on set and it's just like the person might, there's always somebody, like how do
Mhm.
you deal with those type of things or
I th
situations?
That's it's such a great question because it happens a lot. They speak around you a lot
Yeah.
and speak to everyone but you.
Right.
That's happened many times, and, you have to but I think going in with grace always,
Yeah.
anticipating not the negative, but the reality
Yeah.
of what it is,
Hmm.
and, take your emotions out of it as much as you can
Right.
and be as professional as you can.
Yeah.
And you walk in and, do what you know very well,
Right.
and just know that you're there for a reason and you know the job.
Yeah.
And eventually, it doesn't take them long
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
and
It's
to
like the
respect
work
the
is gonna speak for
situation.
itself.
It does. It
Yeah.
really does. And, I have been in difficult situations before, but just learning and being in those situations,
Right.
I've learned to navigate
Right.
in a graceful way. And that's how I've been able to build my career,
Right.
in this way.
So, speaking about that and navigating those spaces, what advice would you give to those who maybe are like in assisting stage, navigating like set etiquette? Because I think,
Oh my gosh.
that is kind of like a subject that I don't really think I've spoken about on the podcast, where it's kind of like an unspoken rule. Certain things you just don't do, certain things you kind of have to read the room and and read people.
Hmm.
So, what advice would you give to people like, finally coming into these spaces that they may not be familiar with?
I think etiquette is the key word,
Mm-hmm.
and being self-aware
Mm-hmm.
and being very self-aware and also
It was
being
like, yeah.
and being respectful.
Exactly.
I think that, even now in the career that I've had,
Mm-hmm.
knowing what an assistant is, right?
Right.
An assistant is a person who is number one respecting and helping the person that is the lead.
Right.
And if you called me to assist now, I know my role.
Yeah.
That is not a role to look down on. That
Mm-hmm.
is a role of empowerment.
Right.
And so it's how you look at what the job that you're doing. You should know what that is.
Right.
And then you need to serve and respect and help and be that person. Is really when I hired you, I'm hiring people at the level I feel like or I see what I am,
Right.
because you have to anticipate my work, my
Right.
next move,
Right.
my neck, like what color would I need? You're going to
Right.
hand me three of those shades that are
Right.
the best in complexion.
Right.
I know you're going to do that.
Right.
So when you're assisting someone, it's an honor, number one, because they're saying to you, I trust you.
Yeah.
Right? It is not the time to try to be the lead.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who celebrity you've done. If you're an assistant
You're an
on that
assistant.
set, you're an assistant.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should do that with pride
Yeah.
and not try to compete,
Right.
because that's not the time, and not
Right.
try to get other jobs
Right.
at that time.
Walking around taking Instagrams.
It's yes. And always, always ask.
Yeah.
when it comes to content, capturing content,
Right.
Instagram, on your phone. Those should be established, and as a lead, that should be established before your team gets there.
Right.
Team meetings
Right.
are so important.
Right.
And then once you get there, morning coffee meetings
Right.
and set the tone.
Right.
And once that tone is set, everybody should be on board. And if
Right.
they're not, and it's not a comfortable space,
Right.
sometimes they're invited to exit.
That part. And I do want to clear some things up because obviously, like, I just said in capturing Instagrams and stuff, I've met a lot of um other assistants on set, but like you said, communication,
Communication.
respect, obviously I'm not gonna go up to the key hairstylist or the photographer,
Right.
but like if the other assistant starts talking to me, like I'm gonna talk back to them, and that's totally
Absolutely.
why you're there. You can always like connect with them. But it's
Absolutely.
just obviously, like you said, being respectful of the space.
Right.
You don't know what this person went through to get this client. Could have been like
Absolutely.
they've been hold and release for a year and finally got the job. And then you're there, so you want to make sure that you represent them in the best way possible.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
and celebrities, working with celebrities, that's a whole different situation.
Right.
Taking photos and getting a little too
Right.
comfortable. I just say never get too comfortable no
Right.
matter what.
Right. Yeah.
You are at work.
So how you've worked with so many different celebrities and like you said, never get comfortable. What's kind of like the one thing that maybe something has happened where you're just like, I don't know. I just never. I know that I'm never gonna do this again.
With this,
Like, so working with celebrities, like sometimes people like, yeah, they might get comfortable. They might go out with them. I don't know. You might use a particular product. Like, is there anything that you're like, okay, this is when I'm doing celebrities, I'm always gonna do this, or I'm never gonna do that.
I think working with celebrities, I like to make sure that they are a partner in the process
Right.
always, because it's very important that they are comfortable with the consistency of how they look
Mm-hmm.
more than working with models.
Mm-hmm.
Models are there to be what the marketing people want them to
Right.
be. But a celebrity, it's very important that they're consistent and
Mm-hmm.
that they look and they're very comfortable. So what I won't do is not. I make sure that I take a photo. I make
Mm-hmm.
sure that we're all aligned
Right.
before they walk out the door.
Right.
What I won't do is let them walk out the door and they're not
Right.
aligned with how they look and
Right.
that
Because
we've
you just
looked at
did
it.
what you wanted to do, not what they wanted.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that they haven't seen a photo
Right.
and that they haven't seen a video.
Right.
We do all of that so everybody's comfortable.
Right. So there's so many different, avenues that you can be in makeup. Celebrity, fashion, TV. But when it comes to fashion and when it comes to TV, it's entirely different
Uh,
makeup. Like you've led teams backstage, you've been on so many different teams for so many different brands. What are some things that you would do backstage that you won't do on TV with regard to makeup application and vice versa?
I think starting with backstage,
Hmm.
the makeup backstage is for let's say Fashion Week for
Yeah.
fashion for designers, the look is definitely could be more avant garde, and it
Right.
also is a little more luminous, is a little more real. The skin
Right.
is a little bit more, I would say, dewy,
Right.
and the looks aren't as sculpted, I would
Right.
say. Whereas television, it's very important that you are on that monitor. You don't have to
Right.
be on the monitor so much
Right.
in fashion,
Right.
but you do in television
Right.
because the lighting,
Mhm.
the angles.
Mhm.
Do you need powder? Do you not? Do you
Right.
need to sculpt a little bit?
Right.
So you have to be a little bit more on monitor
Right.
with television.
Do you use more powder on TV?
It depends
It depends.
strategically, depending
Strategically.
on the skin,
Mhm.
but I would say probably more than I would in a
Yeah.
fashion show, depending on what they
More,
want.
more.
Because yeah, you just need more. And
Yeah.
it's really around the nose, the
Right.
forehead. You
By
don't
the
want
eyebrow
by
right
the eyebrow
there.
right there, exactly. You always need it.
Wow.
And right at that lip area.
Wow. Okay, so we were talking about this actually off camera. But we were talking about how, you've had so many different roles in beauty. And, there's a lot of makeup artists and people who are listening that are not makeup artists as well that want to be in beauty. And I always say there's so many different avenues that you can take, not necessarily through artistry. It can be an executive. You can, there's so many different roles. What advice would you give to those that are wanting to get into new roles, get into, maybe leave the artistry behind
Mhm.
and step into something new? How would they navigate that, because they might not necessarily have it on their resume, but
Correct.
obviously it's a skill that would be built. But what advice would you give to those like trying to seek a new avenue within beauty, just something that's new to them?
I think first be intentional,
Hmm.
know exactly what that is,
Hmm.
and understand the roles that are available.
Hmm.
So, if it's in marketing, are you looking to do something in PR?
Hmm.
Do you want to do something in social?
Hmm.
What is it, number one, that you want to do? And then assess what those skills are. So, I always say go on to like LinkedIn and
Hmm.
look at the job descriptions for
Hmm.
those jobs that are out there.
Right.
And then check off the boxes
Right.
if you have those skills. And if you don't have those skills, learn those skills, get
Right.
into a course and get to know those. And then also get to know people, like you said, on set. Let's say if you're working for one of those brands and you've got the PR person on set, or if you've got the social media person there, you know, get to know those people and see what it is to maybe intern for them
Right.
or to do some work for them. And that's how you will, build your way in.
Right. That's a good idea. Yeah, because I have so many makeup artist friends that are not really doing makeup anymore.
Mhm.
So it's good to kind of just, explore, I feel like.
It is, and I think when you have that skill of makeup and you want to be in the beauty, and let's say we're in the beauty or fashion space,
Mm-hmm.
you already have in the brands, because I'm there and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them, they want people that are already comfortable around,
Right.
because that's half the battle. You're already comfortable in the house, right?
Right.
You get it.
Right.
And once you get it, it's easy to navigate into those other spaces. I've
Right.
worked cross functionally in so many roles
Right.
because of that. I
Right.
understand what's happening in the building.
Right.
So that's half the battle.
I love that. So definitely take note. Now, I actually am very curious about this because you've done HSN and you're
Mhm.
doing QVC now.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of that movie, but there was remember the mom who like started, I can't remember the mom who started the brand. I'll put it in the show notes and I'll put it here. But it's so intense. Like, it's
Oh,
so intense. Like, you have to have like more than media training, I feel like, to succeed because
oh,
it's nonstop. I was watching an episode the other day of Gordon Ramsay has like a cooking show or whatever, and he basically like took them onto QVC and
yeah.
they had to do like and it's live, go, go, go. And it's just like your heart is probably, I mean, now you're a pro, you're like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah,
But it's
no.
so scary. Can you tell us like how do you do it?
Let me tell you something. I had a media coaching business, and
Right,
I've media coached for many years.
right.
QVC, HSN, TSC, which is in Canada, the
Mm-hmm.
DRTV, which is direct response television.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a whole other beast. And it takes a lot to humble me in the
Right,
media space. But
right,
let me tell you something, probably one of the hardest, most disciplined careers I've ever had.
right,
There is a secret sauce to it.
right,
There is a formula in the
right,
way to sell, because there is live selling also. So
right,
there's that formula, how people live sell and different,
right,
like on social or, Instagram, Facebook.
right,
QVC in that format is, you have to be able to connect in a way to speak to this consumer and
right.
feel like their best friend, but it is something, and at a pace
Mm-hmm.
that is unbelievable, and at an hour. I mean, I'll
Right,
do 1 hour shows from 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and you have to be up and ready and spry.
right,
And then I'll do shows that are on Skype from my house, jump in the car, drive 2.5 hours to the studio, and then go live and do what we would call a hit, which is under an hour,
right.
um, and then hit all those points. And there are points to hit
Mm-hmm.
to where you will understand why this will work for you
Right,
and why, what the ingredients are and what the
right.
transformation is going to be. So you have to be a skin expert as well as a makeup expert
Mm-hmm.
and really understand how to connect with people. So
Right,
it definitely, I'm grateful I've been in that space,
right,
and I'm also grateful as a woman of color because there's not a lot of us in that space.
right.
So it's been groundbreaking too
Wow.
for the network.
What would you say, if I for those listening that may have a brand, like what advice would you give to them if they're trying to get on to QVC?
First advice is to know the story
Mm-hmm.
behind the brand,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really about the story.
Right,
And then know how that story connects with you
right,
and what has your product done to transform you personally.
right.
And if there's an emotional story to
Mm-hmm.
that, be ready to tell it.
Right.
And then have that emotional story connect with that consumer
Right.
and make them understand why that will be life changing for them,
Mhm.
maybe game changing for
Mhm.
them, and why they and why not only purchasing it once will be
Right.
good for them, but
Right.
why it would be great to add to their
Right.
routine.
To have a story,
Yep,
something that people could feel. Basically, it's not
absolutely
just like, oh, it's a pretty color.
correct.
Yeah.
So if it's a lip gloss,
Mhm.
why, when there are thousands of lip glosses, why do
Right.
I need your lip gloss?
Right.
Well, the story starts with whatever the ingredient is, right?
Right.
And why that's going to work on your lips. And what are the lip concerns? Top three:
Right.
dry lines, right?
Right.
And you want hydration,
Right.
and you might want plumpness.
Right.
So if you want those things,
Right.
then what are the ingredients that are going to give you hydrated lips, less lines,
Mhm.
and fuller lips?
Right.
And then you tell what that story is, you're hitting those things for whomever,
Right.
and then it's
You hit the
color,
problem,
right?
and
It's
then
vibrant,
you have the
exciting, and then
solution.
you have the solution, problem
Listen,
solution.
it's a master class, okay? It's a master class right now. So, okay, you're driving. I know in the past, like I know you lived in LA for 5 years,
Yes, I sure
Bobbi
did.
Brown,
I did.
and you've been flying all these like. I don't understand because this is my thing, right? This is my problem too now because like maybe a year and a half ago I was on this podcast. It was a solo episode, and I was like, I don't want to go to LA unless I'm being flued out. I'm like
I
being
get it.
I mean, for real, but like calm down at the same time. So I was like, girl, just go. Like, who do you think you are? So, most of us want to like be flued out and we want to be flown out for jobs. And when it's finally start
Yeah,
happening, you're like, oh shit.
this is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
But it's just like, wait, I need a second. Just give me a second.
There's
So
no
how
second.
yeah, so how did you deal with so much traveling, taking care of yourself, balancing like your home life because now you're on the road, you're living out of a suitcase, you're trying to maintain life. Like how did you do it?
Organization.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking a deep breath, having support.
Mhm.
So I had a nice support system,
Mhm.
with my daughter, with my home life,
Mhm.
and really just taking it. It is so funny. People would say, "Well, what are you doing next week? What are you doing?" And I literally would have take it one day at a time,
Right.
because especially doing the QVC, being that we were on call,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't know.
Right.
It's like I have a schedule and then it will flip in 24 hours.
Right.
So it's very difficult. But when I was at Becca, we were gone all the time. I mean, between me being on the social team, which
Mhm.
they did all the Becca escapes, and we were all over the world with
Right.
all the influencers, to me being head of artistry
Right.
and doing all of our shoots. We were in LA. We also went to Iceland. I mean, we went all over. So I
Right.
was all over the globe. And then I was part of the education team,
Right.
where then I was in maybe Vegas doing
Right.
something for Sephora or Ulta or whatever.
Right.
Um, and I was just I had triples of everything.
Right.
So I would have one bag packed, always packed with toiletries and all the things I did.
Right.
I'd have my kit always packed, and then I had that being redone and brushes washed,
Right.
and I literally just had to be organized and had my checklist together.
Right.
And then I was, wellness is important.
Yeah.
I'm also a certified wellness coach. Mhm.
Really?
The Institute for Integrative
Get us
Nutrition.
together.
Oh yeah, I graduated from there in 2016.
Congrats. That's
And I
amazing.
I did that because I needed to understand wellness. I
Right.
needed to understand how to keep that energy up, because the time zones, the different foods, the different, the
Ordering room service, room
there you
service. Yeah.
go. And
Hmm.
really understanding how to keep my energy level up. Because I will tell you, we were in Iceland and we took a 10-hour bus trip from the airport, and then a couple of hours sleep, and then had to do the shoot all day in a lagoon or wherever we were. And I'm running the show and having to have the energy, and makeup artists that were local, and some flown in from New York and
Right.
LA. So it's like keeping that energy up, you
Hmm.
have to be well.
Right.
And that's when I got focused on that whole wellness space for myself.
Hmm.
And so that's important. It's
Right.
important to keep it up.
So, what would you say some of the things that help you? Were you like exercising a lot? Was it the food you ate? Like, what did you choose?
So wheatgrass is huge for
Hmm.
me. Sea moss, drops, I take those. It's important to have all my greens.
Mhm.
Definitely working out, nothing aggressive, but definitely keeping that routine up,
Right.
keeping steps going,
Mhm.
walking where I need to. If I'm in the airport, instead of the escalator, take the
Right.
stairs, those simple things
Yeah.
like that. But keeping up with that type of thing is very, very important. And the older I get, the more important it is.
Right. I love that. Thank you for sharing
Whole
that
Foods.
actually. Yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm tired. I'm like, I'm in my 30s. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
my God, my back. Like, I don't
It's
know if I could.
Listen,
It's
that
a lot.
kit and all of that,
Yeah.
and you just have to go to bed. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to go to sleep.
I know. I'm like up strolling,
Just go. Good
watching
night.
shows. Yeah.
Just
Go to
go
bed,
go to
please.
bed.
Go to bed.
Go to sleep.
Okay, so I think age is a beautiful thing,
Oh, yes.
and it's an honor to age and get older.
It's a
What are some of the?
privilege.
It's a privilege. So, what are some of the tips that you love for makeup and skincare as we age?
I think a consistent routine is important.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping your skin clean, but you have to engage in a dermatologist. You need to go and
Hmm.
assess your skin, know
Hmm.
what's going on with it, and then switch it up a little bit too.
Right.
Because when you're using your different products, sometimes they tire
Right.
and you have to switch up. It's do your education and know how your skin ages.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just hear things about wrinkles or this or that, or maybe it's discoloration, maybe it's firmness,
Right.
whatever it is, and then do your homework on those ingredients.
Right.
And then decide what's going to work for you. Some people think it's organic is the best, or,
Right.
clean is the best, or this or that, but you need to find what's going to be best for your skin.
Right.
And then, most important, be honest. Be
Meanwhile, I'm
honest.
staring at your skin. Looks so good.
Thank you. But be honest about where you are.
Right.
As we age, we have to be honest where our skin is, and then we have to do what we need to do for it. And
Right.
it's not just I'm for it all.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to do whatever you want to do, but also make sure you're with somebody that understands your skin,
Yep.
not only the melanin, but also your skin texture and
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with it. It's kind of like your best friend. And
Yeah.
because you want to look real too,
Yeah.
because there's a lot going on out there.
It's a lot happening.
That's a lot happening. We'll leave it at that,
Which
but
is
there's a
which
lot
is fine,
happening.
girl, but
Yeah, do
it's a lot.
you.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So you've done so much in your career. Like, there's so much that you have done. I feel like, is there anything that you haven't done that you want to do? Like, what are you looking forward to?
I think if you'd say in the beauty space, I think continuing to educate and mentor and
Mm-hmm.
inspire.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And now that I'm in the space that I am now, I want to do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mentor artists coming up, and
Right.
then also talk to students and what you were mentioning earlier, knowing that there's so many different areas in which you can focus in the beauty industry.
Right.
And I'd love to see more women of color, people of color, to come into the beauty industry, to be a part of the tech part of it,
Yeah.
the on-set part of it, marketing,
Mm-hmm.
all throughout our
Right.
industry, because I think that will make it well-rounded, and
Right.
it won't feel like pandering. It will feel more like a real family.
Right.
But for me, I think now it's merging beauty and wellness together. I really think that's my next space,
I
to
love
just really
that.
merge that in a way that's new and fresh. I'm still thinking what that's going to be, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the pod.
Well, thank
Now,
you.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a little game that I want to play with you. Are you
Okay.
open to it?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Very.
Okay, so this is called the game show, the little game called Black Card Revoked. You ever played that before?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's kind of like that, but this is called Beauty Card Revoked. This is
Okay.
your beauty card. You
All
can hold
right.
on to that.
All right.
I'm going to be asking you 5 questions,
Okay.
and you have to get at least 3 correct.
Okay.
If not, your beauty card will be revoked.
No. No, no, no.
I'm so sorry, but it's okay. You probably are gonna pass. It's only 5 questions. So although it's only 5 questions, you don't have a lot of time to answer.
All right.
Okay, so
Oh boy.
don't be taking your time. Okay, let me put on my glasses for this one. All right, are you ready?
I think so.
All right. Which skincare company was just acquired by Elf for 355 milli?
Oh, I
Okay.
just
Okay,
I
is
can't
it
even.
A, Naturium? Is it B, Covey? Or is it C, Ola Henriksen?
Say it again.
A, Naturium, B, Covey, or C, or if I'm not saying it right, Covey, or C, Ola Henriksen.
Notorian?
Yes!
Yes.
Okay. I know it was all over social
I know.
media.
I was like,
Okay.
let me
I was
get
like,
that
get
right.
your money. We love you, Susan. Okay. Congrats.
Yes, bye.
Okay. So, question 2: tomatoes, strawberries, latte, espresso. What are these examples of? Is it A, things to eat, B, makeup trends, or C, both?
Both.
Correct. Okay. We're going good. Which makeup artist has held leading roles at Byredo, Tom Ford, and Burberry, and now has her own makeup line? Is it A, Charlotte Tilbury? Is it B, Dame Pat McGrath? Or is it C, Isamaya French?
Ooh, this one. Repeat this again because
So,
it's between two people.
which makeup artist has held leading roles at Byredo, Tom Ford, and Burberry, but now has her own makeup line? Is it A, Charlotte Tilbury, B, Pat McGrath, or C, Isamaya French?
Charlotte Tilbury.
That is
Uh,
incorrect. I am so sorry, Cindy. It is
mm,
Isamaya French.
okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, she's amazing. Okay, it's
I'm
all right. You
sorry.
still have a chance. Which beauty tool was invented in 1923 and uses oscillation to stimulate the skin? Is it A, an electric razor, B, an electric facial massager, or C, an microcurrent device?
A microcurrent device.
That is
Oh,
incorrect. It is an
okay.
electric facial massager. I don't think they were up to times with
Oh.
microcurrent yet. Okay. So, Cindy, you have this is the last
Oh
question.
boy.
Okay. Which company introduced the first waterproof mascara? Is it A, Maybelline? Is it B, Revlon? Or is it C, Estee Lauder?
The first waterproof
Mascara.
mascara.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say Maybelline.
Yes! Okay,
Do I
Cindy.
keep my card?
Yes, she beauty card. Okay, she knows her ish. OG. Congratulations. Your beauty card has
Thanks,
not been
Cindy.
revoked.
I'd hate that.
We love that for you. Okay, so Cindy, we had such a great time with you today. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Please tell us how we can connect with you, follow you, give us all the things.
Okay, well, I am so easy to find. I'm Cynde Watson on all platforms. So it's at Cynde Watson, CyndeWatson, and then at Cynde Watson Beauty. So very simple to find me.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Cindy.
you.
Now, don't forget, we are on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at The Life of a Makeup Artist. And if you are not part of our backstage crew, we have secret episodes. Yes, there are episodes that we do not post publicly. If you want to know how to get that, all of the information is in the show notes and also in our link in bio over all our platforms. But I will check you guys in the next episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and give us all the ratings, okay? 5-star for our 5-star guests, okay? I'll see you later. Bye.